Labor Day weekend 2009. This is the 31st annual NHB North Huntington Beach Cup. Hello again, everybody. I'm Greg GK Porter, along with Jim Costa on the camera. So shift colors. We are about to get underway for all you sailors out there past and present. This match in the boys under 14 represents Akfc United 98 and West Coast FC. West Coast FC will be going from right to left on your picture screen, and Akfc going from left to right. Let's get the lineups for both clubs. First for Akfc 98. They're head coached by Troy Leatherman. The trainer is T.R. Stoneback, and the manager is Michelle Sandy. The keeper is Chance Fannin. At left back is Max Haynes. At left mid is Blake Hepler. At right back is Brett Hines. At outside mid is Dawson Knopp. At let's get those numbers there. Max Haynes is number 3. Number 4, Blake Hepler, left mid. Number 5 at right back is Brett Hines. Number 6 at outside mid is Dawson Knopp. Number 7 at forward is Ben Sandy. Number 10 at center mid is Drini Redzepi. Number 11 at forward is Alex Valdez. Number 12 at center mid is Bailey Leatherman. Number 13 at right mid is Dylan Van Hook. Number 14 at right center back is Jacob Chu. And number 24 at left center back is Chase Fannin. We saw these guys in the Mayor's Cup last year. West Coast FC, their head coach is Bergery Hoffman, and the team manager is Adili Sayed. The keeper is Jose Salmaron. Number 2 at stopper is Alex Dibble. Number 4 at midfield is Spencer Madden. Number 6 at striker is Elliot Nunez. Number 7 at right mid is Jacob Saldivar. Number 8 at sweeper is Rafa Reyes. Number 9 at defender is Omiar Syed. Number 10 at center mid is Zach Kobayashi. Number 11 at striker is Dane Lind. Number 12 at defender is August Burhans. Number 13 at defender is Garrett Hogben. Number 14 at midfield is Cody Lesko, 15. At defender is Aiden Sargent. Number 17 at defender is Nicola Drobiak. And number 18 at midfield is Jake Gaioso. 21 at defender is Jake Ogden. And 24 at left mid is Joey Berry. That ball across the 18-yard box. Akfc, the Alaskan visitors now, trying to defend. Down to Central now. West Coast FC winning that soccer ball now, pushing it out to the wide. On the near side. That ball into the box, off the near post, and then kicked out of the 18-yard box by Akfc. West Coast FC nearly put that one in the back of the net. And it's a nice service by Joey Berry that started that whole sequence. Now down at Central. And this is Ben Sandy, and there's going to be a whistle. And it must have been an offsides call. So it's a free kick. West Coast FC and Akfc.
Come here. Stretch the field.
Akfc United.
You can jump.
That ball by West Coast FC pushed out a play in the near side touchline. And so Akfc now throwing it in. Down to Central, Greeny Redzepi, and that ball is going past the goal line. Have a player on Akfc that is numbered as number 15, and we'll have to find out who he is. That was not given to us in the beginning of the rosters that was given to us. Maybe just a number change from what was given to us. A lot of times it happens. in the space. Joey Berry is pass, getting it over to Kobayashi. And then to the outside, as running onto it there was Gaioso. And that's Hogbin. His pass was intercepted there in the space. AKFC, 0-0. Opening moments of the match. First 5 minutes or so. We keep the unofficial time.
Good one.
West Coast FC pushing it across midfield. On it, Rafa Reyes. And then there's a strike there by Syed. Barry in his space, didn't get it. And West Coast FC with Reyes retreating back. Reyes in his own defensive third wants to go diagonal on the play to Hogbin. Hogbin now on a far flank. Got a touchdown at central, Kobayashi, and then to that wide again. And in a space that time was Max Haynes trying to interrupt their progress down the right flank. It was successful as they have to throw it in now. Coming over into the space there was Jacob Chu. Ball knocked out of play to far side touchline. West Coast will throw it in. Working from their right flank, trying to get something going here. Get a play towards that 18-yard box. Into space, pushed out and up to the midfield area there, trying to run onto it was Sandy. Got an opportunity last October, as I mentioned at the outset, to see the AKFC United 98, the visitors from Alaska, in the Mayor's Cup over there in Las Vegas. Different field than the one they were playing on then. Artificial surface. I believe it was up there at Kellogg Zaire Sports Complex.
See.
We'll be there again next month. Lots of great fields over there.
Watch the backside.
But first, we're going to finish this one out here in Huntington Beach. United, AKFC United, going to see what they can try and do here on this set piece. AKFC, and that ball goes behind the net. So they don't get what they want out of that opportunity, that offensive try. So we're still 0-0. And amazingly enough, this afternoon, or I should say this morning, and now heading to the afternoon, as there's a substitution for AKFC. And if we don't get the chance to see the number, we'll mention it anytime as they touch that soccer ball. Interestingly, today, we have seen a total of, well, unofficially, probably about 57 minutes now of scoreless soccer in 2 games. The same age bracket in this NHB Cup. One that started back in '78. West Coast FC and AKFC trying to break that we've had today. In the corner with Joe Berry. Joey Berry, his pass, had plenty of players there in the central. One of the things I do remember defensively, AKFC, they know how to play the game defensively.
Move forward.
On the near side, Joey Berry. Berry now for West Coast. His service again. And a collision down there, and it goes awry. No call by the center ref on that collision. The striker and the keeper. So for AKFC, out of their own defensive third in a 0-0 match, they are going to try to push it upfield, see what they can do. The left flank. Looking that time for Sandy, he did not get it. Temperature is a little bit more humid earlier in the match, or earlier in the first match we had. It's a couple of hours ago. And now that humidity kind of going away, and drying out a little bit. Making it a little bit more comfortable with the breeze here towards the tip of the afternoon. Going to throw it in, West Coast FC. On a basically cloudless day here, North Huntington Beach. NHB Cup, Labor Day weekend. Trying to get it was Red Zeppi. He didn't. The alternate number, Kobayashi got it. And the 18-yard box now. And in another strike, and it's over the top of the net that time by Cody Lesko.
Cody.
Lesko wanted to bring that one down, but a good idea to be in the space and just take a shot. That rusty net over there.
Stay compact in the middle.
That means it's been around for a long time. Hogbin was over in the space, and now on it is Kobayashi. He pushes it out to the wide, and that time he was looking for Zaldivar.
Win the ball back, let's go. Close the wide player over there.
But that ball had too much pace on it for Jacob. The throw in, Akfc in their own defensive third.
Here we go.
Now one's going to go out of play on a far side touchdown. Going to be a throw in for West Coast. In his space, a number of the white there. West Coast FC at midfield trying to collect it. They do not. And so now the two players in the deep back treating back. And a mistake now as the keeper comes out to make the save. That time for West Coast as Dylan Van Hook trying to bring one and put one in the back of the net, hook or otherwise. But coming out to make the save was Salmeron. Jose, nice decision that time. Akfc now on the right flank. And they've got
Jake,
Van Hook again. Dylan Van Hook, a little step over there, and he was trying to weave his way around the defender there, but would not allow him to do so.
Who's the player
But
open?
the defender knocked it out of play. A throw in the near side touchline by Akfc. Draw it. And then to the central now as they try and collect and get their passing attack going and spread out. West Coast down is central. They cannot get the possession there, and they give it away. Chasing it down now is Dane Lind, but he won't get to it as the defender in the deep back gets to it. Akfc first. But Lind has it again now. Dane Lind, nice move. Lind still on a soccer ball, and in the corner it is knocked out of play. Lind was trying to make the turn there and try to get a service. He had plenty of numbers there in that box. But since it was knocked out by Akfc, the Alaska visitors now are going to give way to a set piece for West Coast. Okay, West Coast FC. Their opportunity here. A bending ball into the 18-yard box. A header, and it goes awry. They did get a header on it, but wasn't accurate enough. I believe that time was Zaldivar. Jacob into space. 0-0 your score. And those minutes are adding up here in the second match of the day for us on the announcing side of the house, with no score. Trying to go down to central. Akfc, but coming out is Salmeron to make the save off his line. He's going to go off to the right. Hogbin pushing it up forward. but nobody to connect with. Max Haynes will throw it in, but there's going to be substitution for AKFC. They want to get a fresh player in. Head coach Troy Leatherman. They bring it in. Bailey Leatherman, a touch there, but it's going to be a throw-in for West Coast FC in a 0-0 match. We'll mention that player that came in for AKFC as he touched that soccer ball. Into the defensive half. Retreating back, AKFC. Retreating back that time was Max Haynes. You keep it from going any further towards his own defensive third. In a 0-0 match, West Coast FC will throw it in here in the first half. Goes out of play, lastly knocked down by the Alaskan visitors. And it'll be a throw-in for West Coast again. Trying to get somebody to maintain possession of it. Now we see another player for West Coast who was not initially given to us. Oh, we'll have to get those two guys. Halftime. One for both clubs. Down to Central with Kobayashi. Zach on a move. He's got somebody in that 18-yard box on the wide, but that pass intercepted. There's the shot. Just missed the far post. The clear out of the 6-yard box went right to Kobayashi, and he took that shot, and he nearly beat the keeper in a far post. Chase Fannin back there. Cleared it out. Gave it away. And now on the near side. Knopp chasing it down. Dawson on a nice run, the right flank for AKFC. Knopp pushing that ball behind the defender and chasing it down. Knopp going to throw it in. Gets it into his teammate. We do not know his name, so sorry about that. But we will find out. Halftime. Going to be a throw-in. Service to the far side, and nicely done by West Coast to make sure nothing happens there. That was Zaldivar in the space, protecting against Blake Hepler trying to get to that soccer ball.
Push up!
Sandy had it for a moment, gave it away, and being able to cut it off at midfield was Jacob Chu.
Up.
It goes out of play. Max Haynes is going to throw it in.
Hey, I'm here.
0-0 is your score. We are probably, we'll take a look at it here and see where we're at. More than likely, we're about halfway through, and we lost track of that. So we'll be setting that thing up a little bit better in the second half, but just the feel of it, we're about halfway through the first half, and still no score. So that's a good 60-some-odd minutes of scoreless soccer today. Going to be throwing it in, not of this match, but of the last match and this one combined. That ball headed toward the keeper. He makes a save. What does that mean? It means a lot of defense we've seen today, and it's same category on both games. Boys under 12. AKFC trying to go down to Central. And looking for Sandy. Sandy didn't get it. Tracing it down now is Valdez. Valdez, he's got Knopp to the wide. Knopp now, Dawson Knopp looking back to Valdez, but he's not there. Gives it away. In his space, West Coast.
What happening in the defense? Play easy ball.
And it's going to be a throw-in. AKFC, Valdez. Okay. Brad Hines is was given to us as number 5, but he is actually number 15. So Hines is doing a fine job offensively in this match. And now we can give out his name as we wanted to do. Gave it at the beginning of the roster, but it was another number, which means, is there a number 5 out there? We're going to have to find out who he is for AKFC. In a scoreless match, the 31st annual NHB Cup. In your own defensive third, they push it upfield, AKFC. And looking that time for Sandy, he never got it. Jacob Chu in his space, trying to protect. And to the outside, you see Max Haynes. And it goes over to Blake Hepler. And Hepler trying to get it up forward to Sandy. He never got it. They intercepted it. West Coast now, again, keeping it in their defensive half. And they have still possession of it here in the corner now with Gayoso and company on the near side. Gayoso trying to chase it down. AKFC, and it goes out of play. And AKFC will throw it in as they move up the field. Trying to get a counterattack going. Intercepted, though, and sent all the way back to their defensive third. Scoreless tie in this match. This one between West Coast FC and AKFC. Knocked. Knopp sending that ball down to Central. He was looking for Sandy, but he didn't quite get it, as Ben was double teamed on the play.
Come on, right, left back, okay? Let's go.
That ball goes out of play in a far side touchline, as going to get a fresh player in. That's Aiden Sargent now in for West Coast. AKFC into space. That's Max Haynes. Haynes pushing up forward, and it's knocked out by West Coast. Going to be a throw-in at left flank over there. Is Hepler going to throw in? No, they have somebody else going to throw it in. Intercepted into space. They're still on it. The all-white of AKFC. It goes out of play. Far side touchline. It'll be a throw-in again. For AKFC trying to get to that attacking third, and that's exactly where they're at. As West Coast FC sends it up forward. However, still kept in the defensive half for West Coast now. AKFC, they've got a player with time and space. It's blocked in the box, and he sends it out on a near side touchline. Teeing it up was Alex Valdez, and he had his shot blocked there as they stood tall in the central of the 18-yard box. But they had a little movement that time. And an illegal throw-in. And it's going to be a throw-in for West Coast FC. Some of the players not bringing that ball over their head, and they're having a violation. The throw-ins. West Coast FC is going to throw it in. Toward the central now. Knopp couldn't quite get to it. Off to Karam. That 50-50 ball goes over to Knopp. Knopp sweeps it over to Leatherman. Bailey Leatherman now draws it back to Fannin. Off of Knopp and toward the box now as Valdez. And then a shot and a save. Bailey Leatherman on a shot from distance.
Get on in the 50-50 ball.
Down a central. Scoreless tie.
Push up.
NHB Cup. Into the center circle now. West Coast. They win it, push it, cross midfield now. Into central. West Coast now winning it again. And they push it across. And it'll be a foul into space. They fouled Zach Kobayashi, so now it's going to be a free kick for West Coast. From distance, teeing it up, Rafa Reyes.
What's your rebound?
Reyes with the burgundy cleats. Reyes down a central off of a bounce, and the keeper takes a save, but it goes off his hand past the goal line. It'll be a corner kick. Chance Fannin making a save, but he gave up a CK now. Set piece try for West Coast in a scoreless game in the 18-yard box now. That's the end of the first half of action. And add another 25 minutes to what's happened today to both Jim and I. That's 75 minutes of scoreless soccer between two games, 25 in this match. We'll see what happens in the second half. It's just great defense. Stick with us. You'll see what the coaches are saying to their players, and we'll be right back in the 31st annual NHB. Okay, we're underway here in the second half. Akfc is going to be going from right to left, and West Coast is going to be going from left to right. On your screen, 0-0. And on the pass out to the wide there, Zaldivar, and to the central, and they just couldn't quite get the one they wanted. A collision there right in the central out of the 18-yard box.
Don't go so far. Don't go so far. Bring the ball on top back.
So we start off real quick for West Coast FC here in the second half. As I mentioned, there has been a total of 75 minutes of scoreless soccer today in two games that we've done. Who is going to be the first one to put one on the board? This has happened to me before. It's happened at LandryvidProductions.com before. So we'll see what happens here. That is a measure of good defense for both teams. Two quality games that we've done. That's really what it is. In his space now. AKFC, Hepler and company having problems now in their own defensive half as West Coast FC continues to put some pressure on them. And the keeper able to come out of there and make the save. Chance Fannin. Identical twins with Chase Fannin. Chase out there is number 24. Spencer Madden is number 20 for West Coast. So you know who those two players were that got mentioned. We didn't know their names there. Heinz, number 15, and Madden, number 20. And the numbers that they were mentioned at the beginning, those numbers are not out there on the field or a part of the game today. We sometimes go with traveling jerseys and then it changed numbers. On a touch there was Zaldivar. Zaldivar pushing it down to central. Coming out there and making the save is Fannin. Fannin driving it down to central. There was a touch quickly there by Kobayashi. And that ball in their own half, Hepler. And now they push it across midfield, but reducing the size of the field nicely that time was Rafa Reyes. And his teammates Lesko and company trying to get it out of their own half. And they have it again across midfield to Zaldivar, who drops it back, but then now they give it away as a touch by Hepler down to central, and an offsides call. 0-0 your score here in the second half now between West Coast FC and AKFC, the Alaskan visitors. And we've gone into the third minute now of the second half, unofficial.
There we go, good. Help him,
that ball along the right flank now. And still on it there, Zaldivar. His service into the box. Couldn't get a touch on it. Now they have one.
Get on him!
And Zaldivar trying to get it again, and Jacob never got to it.
Come on, get in the hole. No.
Going to be a CK.
Come on, more.
Rafa Reyes setting it up.
First post the player.
And a 0-0 match here in the 5th minute of the second half. Reyes, a nice strong ball, and up in the air over the top of the net. He did get a player to strike it, but he just couldn't keep it in the field of play on that trajectory. Going over the top of the net, and Fannin happy on that one, because they had a player at the back post to make that strike. West Coast FC still keeping it in the defensive half of AKFC. Keeping the touches being theirs, and it's going to be a foul. And that foul is going to work against AKFC. A little bit too much by Red Zeppi, and it'll be a free kick.
Where are you going?
West Coast FC.
Stay on him, a one-on-one. Get a goal. Put it in now.
Reyes right on target, and Fannin makes a save. Nice strong shot by Rafa, but sliding to his right was Fannin. Fannin and company down the field. Try to get something going across midfield, but they give it up. And it's going to be a throw-in for West Coast in their own defensive half. In the 6th minute of the second half now.
Hey, let's go. Up it.
Do the math on that one. 31 and 50, 81 scoreless minutes today. To the outside, AKFC. World of soccer, it can be like that, fit to be tied. That's just the nature of what this tournament is going to be like in this age bracket. With these teams going to be a struggle all the way to the championship game. You want to definitely stick around for all the activity, if you can. Will not come easy. And it's going to be a offsides call, a free kick. And AKFC not wasting any time trying to go up the field. And it's 0-0 match. West Coast FC in their own half of the field. And they're working on over to Kobayashi. Kobayashi into space. Kobayashi still on it and pushes it up forward. Got a teammate out to the wild in Zaldivar. Back to Zaldivar, nice pass. Good touch on it. And Zaldivar beating a defender, puts it up in the air, knocked away by Fannin at the last moment. Good ball right on the net. and Fannin had to leap into the air and swipe it away. But now here comes the counterattack for AKFC now, as they have players there getting the touches at midfield. However, strong at the midfield, and they've reduced the size of the field. Reyes trying to get it. The keeper comes way off his line to make the save. Fannin way off his line at the top of the box, and he had to be aware of where he was at. Good awareness that time. Otherwise, could have been a penalty shot. And at West Coast now, it trickles, and they're still standing tall at the top of the box. AKFC in a 0-0 match. Nice job to step over by Kobayashi. Still trying to work it to his teammate that time in Barry. And it goes out of play, but they'll have the throw in West Coast. West Coast from the left flank will throw it in. 0-0 score here in the second half of the second game. AKFC, West Coast in this one. Retreating back with only 2 and a deep back to get that ball and push it across midfield as they reduce the size of the field. In the 9th minute now of the second half. 16 or so thereabouts left to go in a match.
Look at it, step forward.
Opening bracket play here the first day of action here. Going to be a throw-in for West Coast. It has really become quite nice with the temperature action here. A lot less humidity and the breeze. Totally delightful. And the AKFC happy that it's like that, because the less hot it is, the better it is for them. And that ball goes over to Fannin. He touched it, and he makes a save. Gets his own rebound that time. Thought it was going to go past the goal line and would have gave up a CK. Down at Central, though. Down at Central, and Fannin will retreat off to the right. Way off his line to get to the soccer ball.
Short kick.
And it was an offsides call. Be a free kick. Unless that one went, from where it's tough to see. That one passed the goal line, so it's a goal kick. Up the field now. And it's Central. There was a touch there by Reyes.
Guys, 50-50 ball. I got it.
And ball pushed out to the wide now. Zaldivar. Jacob trying to keep it in.
Jacob.
And it went past the goal line, so it'll be a goal kick. 0-0 match here in the second half. West Coast FC, the visitors from Alaska. Now they got 2 substitutions coming in for West Coast FC. Dane Lind is back into the contest, and Jake Ogden is into the contest now. Ten and a half minutes left to go. We're in the 11th minute, actually.
You don't have napkins?
About halfway through the second half. It is still 0-0. On the wide here, on the run. That's that was Spencer Madden, who's number 20 now. And it's Central, and AKFC able to win that soccer ball and push it out of their own 18-yard box. Boy, that was crucial right there. Big opportunity for West Coast FC. As they has reduced the size of the field, but it goes out of the far side touchline. They're going to give up a throw-in for AKFC in a scoreless match. But can AKFC get any offense going? They've been playing defense here the last few minutes in their own half of the field now, as West Coast has reduced them in this match to running around playing defense. They've taken away the offensive contingent for AKFC. And now they get some offense going as Blake Hepler now. Hepler at a 50-50 ball did not get to it. And taken away by West Coast FC now. Push it all the way down. The near side. Chasing it down. Spencer Madden. Madden could not keep it in. There's going to be substitutions here. Coming in for AKFC in this scoreless match. If you're AKFC and your head coach Troy Leatherman, you've got to get some offense going now, because the more and more you play in your own half of the field, the more and more you give an opportunity for the other club to put it in the back of the net.
Then, action! Don't fall asleep.
But if you're West Coast FC, you want to keep the pressure on. Do not allow them much of an offensive chance. But that ball now goes over to Van Hook. And to the outside, Van Hook chasing it down. It goes out of play. West Coast throwing it in. Van Hook trying to get it. And was it a handball? Might have been. That time it's going to be now AKFC an opportunity to move up the field and try and play a little offense here. They haven't done much of that in the last 7 or so minutes. West Coast FC as it goes toward the 18-yard box, but they quickly at the top of the box get it and push it upfield. And now they got those numbers again. West Coast now getting the possessions, maintaining possession of the soccer ball, and continuing to keep it away from AKFC.
Then, change with Elliott the position.
It'll be
left,
a throw-in for AKFC, though, at midfield.
and ball.
But on the other side of the ledger for AKFC, they found a way to play a good enough defense to not allow West Coast to get it in the back of the net, and that's why we're still scoreless.
Forward.
On the run, Haynes. It goes out of play. Throw in by Max Haynes on the near side. Salmeron hasn't had to do much here in the second half.
Your team, let's go.
West Coast down the near side, knocked out by Haynes. West Coast want to push it up again. Retreating back is the white and blue. The Alaskan visitors now at midfield, winning that soccer ball now. Kobayashi, and coming off is Fathead. He gets a rebound at the last moment, as Ogden nearly got a strike on it, and if he does, he got a great chance of putting it in the back of the net. And it would have broke up this string that we've had all day long of scoreless soccer. To the outside now, here in the second game and in the second half of the second game. Still nobody's put anything in the net. Don't believe I've had 2 games in a row, but the record could be broken today. Or set today, whichever way you want to look at it. Throw it in. And we're not talking about over the top of the net.
Good bond.
We're not talking about bronze soccer or silver soccer. We're talking about premier soccer today. And that shot by Kobayashi, he is getting closer and closer to making big plays, to getting him one in the back of the net. AKFC, though, living dangerously, but have not allowed one in the back of the net yet.
Hey, they're behind you.
Knopp, double team, they take it away. The Southern California West Coast FC on it, pushing it towards.
Come on, don't watch.
But nicely done by AKFC into space toward the central, and down to central now, looking for a runner, but Fannin comes way off his line, and watch that one go past the goal line in a scoreless tie. The 31st annual NHB Cup. We are now in the 17th minute of the second half. Do the math on that one. Nearly 100 minutes of scoreless soccer to today in 2 games. Don't often see that at any level. However, down at Central now, out to the wide. It's over to Madden, and Madden just could not get to the soccer ball. Too much pace on it on the outside for Spencer Madden. So now it'll be a substitution as Alex Dibble comes in now. Alec Dibble come in for West Coast. Scoreless tie, Akfc off the 6-yard box. Trying to get somebody to win it, possess it, make some plays. Get it in the defensive half of West Coast FC, but they're not being able to do it. And now they got to retreat back again. Fannin is off his line, but he's got his teammate to the outside, and still staying on top of it was Ogden. Keeping it in the field of play. Nice hustle by Jake Ogden.
Hey, talk to him, let's go. A lot of talking, boys. Let's go.
Scoreless tie. 19th minute. They only played 25 here in the opening round. NHB Cup. So down to about 5 or 6 minutes unofficially in this match. Still scoreless. The foul. Kobayashi, or no, that was Redzepi getting it going. Drini, and he's got Valdez there in the central, but he can't get somebody onto it. Now they do, and that's Hepler. Hepler looking for his teammate now in the central, and he's got him. That's Sandy to the wide, however, intercepted into space. However, coming back to help out, there is Heinz. Heinz keeping it in the defensive third. To the outside now with Valdez. And it goes out of play. And is AKFC trying to make a run here in the waning moments to try to get one in the back of the net. And in a lot of ways, pull an upset in this match. 0-0 is the score. The Alaskan visitors now, who we saw at the Mayor's Cup, played well there. We're seeing them play well here again defensively. Just haven't put one in the back of the net yet. Down to Central, trying to get to the ball first. Having a hard time though, and now they're gonna have to retreat back. And they have a player there in Haynes, and Haynes just decides to push that ball. Max says, I'm not gonna fool with it. I'm gonna push it out. Now they get an opportunity to try and protect in their own defensive third. But on it now is Ogden. Ogden thought he had something there, but it didn't work out. However, they still have it in the defensive half. And that ball goes over to Burgeons. And now on top of it is Lesko. Lesko out to the wide to Dibble, and it's blocked that time by Haynes coming over into space. However, they'll get a throw in. Nicely done by Haynes. Into the 6-yard box, a save by Fannin. Fannin able to make the save, not too tough on that one. But again, the second half, he's had to make saves. He's had to make plays, decisions. On the 50-50, it goes out of play. The throw in by West Coast. Getting a nice bending ball, and going down that time was Sandy. And it is going to be a throw in. Not a foul there, but a throw in though for AKFC. Redzepi. And the center ref says you got to move back and throw it in. I believe it's the exact same crew that has seen all of these minutes go by without a score today. Amazing. Down to the last few minutes of the second batch. And a whistle. And it'll be a free kick. Will somebody put it in the back of the net? Down to Central, a big chance for West Coast. Fannin comes out and makes a save. Oh, he came off the line and made the save big time, risking life and limb that time. Big save by Fannin. Down to Central, West Coast. Getting it over to Lesko. Lesko now retreats toward the interior. Oh, and it was all teed up that time for Sargent, and he let it go by. And it goes past the far side touchline, and we're still scoreless. Center ref will be looking at his watch pretty soon, in a couple minutes. The 23rd minute unofficially that we have of this 25-minute second half.
Hey, no hurry up.
Gonna throw it in. 97 minutes of scoreless soccer that Jim Costa and I have seen today. On it, drawing it back, Hogman. Bringing it down, trying to bring it down out to the wide. Drobiak chasing it down. Nicola. Going to be a throw-in, though, for West Coast FC. Can they put one in the back of the net here in the last couple of minutes? Or can AKFC keep them out of the net? And it's going to be a goal kick.
With the ball up top, back.
AKFC has nearly played in their own half of the field in the second half. They have not had really any chances to put anything in the back of the net offensively. It goes out of play. West Coast from the far side touchline at midfield. At midfield now, with the wind working against them, and that's been a part of the deal, but the biggest part of the deal has been West Coast FC.
Easy ball, no dribbling. Over the head.
On the near side, it goes out of play. That's the end of the match. The scoreless tie for AKFC United, 98, and West Coast FC. 2 matches of scoreless soccer. Can't remember when the last time that's happened. But it's been great soccer, great defensive soccer, and it only makes that this tournament is going to be spectacular all the way to the final. So stick with us in the NHB Cup 2009, the 31st annual. The visitors from Alaska, AKFC United 98, played a great defensive game. They played in their own half of the field for the second half, but they were not able to get anything going offensively. They did a great job defensively. As a result, the scoreless tie, keeping West Coast FC from winning the game. We hope that you enjoyed all the action in this match. Take care of yourself, safe travels, and until the next time, as always, save this on the hard drive. Bye now.